Everybody, welcome back to Tom. I feel like I have not spoken to you in ages because I've not spoken to you in ages. We have been so busy creating lots of stuff, lots of great content to get you through the summer. And of course, Organised Christmas that starts in September. So we have been very, very busy in the background. Don't worry, I have not left you. We are still working very, very hard. If you haven't already, you obviously see all of the great Tom Rocks content that has been coming over on the Organised Mum app, including a Tom Light series, which is a collection of 6 guided sessions that basically take classic Tom, squish them down into 15-minute guided sessions, which are perfect for those days when you might be short on time, you might be short on energy, maybe it's the school holidays and you just want to get the basics done. They are going to keep the housework ticking along so it doesn't slide completely until you are able to pick it back up properly again. So make sure you check those out. But today we are going to be talking to Mel. Mel got in touch for a housework reset. She was feeling very overwhelmed. There was a particular room in her home that was like a block. You'll see why in a minute. And she needed my help to unblock it and get back into her housekeeping groove again. So shall we meet Mel and see what we've got in store?
I had a little bit of a chat before we started recording, and you kind of alluded to the fact that you were like, if I want to start something, I have to be all in and go for it. So tell me what it is that your main sticking point at the moment.
Bathroom, the upstairs shower room, which is our the main bathroom that we use. I think we live in a really hard water area. The lime scale builds up really quickly, and I've just really dropped the ball on it. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I really need to go and I need to descale it. I need to get the Viaco out, really go to town on it. Because I know I need to do that, I've almost stopped cleaning it in other ways. Like I'll give the toilet a wipe round. I find it really hard to go in there and think I'm going to clean the bathroom, because in the back of my mind there's this sort of big red alert going, well, what's the point if you've not done the lime scale? You need to, you really need to take the shower head off and descale that as well. And then I need to do this. So it becomes, in my mind at least, like a good 2-3 hour job of like properly scrubbing it. Yeah, I'm finding it really hard to get past that and do the day-to-day bits in there.
And so would you say that sort of extends, is it just the bathroom where that problem exists, or does that like extend to other rooms of the home as well?
I think that's a general me thing. So like I'm sitting here in the kitchen at the moment and I know I need to like properly wipe down all the cupboard fronts, and not just wipe down the cupboard fronts, but open the doors and get in all the little corners and all the little nitty gritty bits. And then just knowing that I really need to do that job is putting me off doing other smaller jobs that that are more, not so much the day-to-day things I can keep on top of, like doing the dishwasher and wiping down the sides, but emptying the toaster crumbs and all the other like the bits and bobs that you want to kind of keep on top of, because I feel like, what's the point if I don't do the whole thing?
Obviously this is the first time we've ever met, but I'm kind of picking up on like potential like perfectionism vibes. Is that right? Like there's no point in me doing this because I'm not got the time that I need in order for me to reach the standard that I will be satisfied with.
Absolutely. To the point of it's self-sabotaging, really. Right. It means it's such a high standard that I never reach it. My house never looks like that. And if my house looked 20% better, that would be great. But because I'm setting myself a goal of 100%, I'm not actually getting even 20%.
What does your week look like? How is your time currently stretched?
So I'm working full-time Monday to Friday. Little one is in nursery on those days.
What are your energy levels like? Are you exhausted? Your face, energy levels, they're literally on the floor. What's energy?
Yeah. No, I do feel like some sort of permanently exhausted pigeon, if you've seen that meme. Yeah. I would say sleep is improving, but it's still not brilliant.
Doing the big jobs is getting on your nerves because you're not actually getting down and doing it. And on a scale of 1 to 10, realistically, how desperate are those? How how bad has it got? Essentially, that's what I'm trying to say. Do you like want to gut the whole house, or you're like, oh, it's all right, I could just chip away at it really realistically a little bit at a time if I could just get over this psychological hump?
Yeah. I think it depends on the room really. The upstairs shower room, that definitely needs deep cleaning, and that definitely needs some time put into it. The other rooms are probably more things that I just need to build into a regular routine, and because if I did them regularly, it wouldn't build up in the same way. It's just,
But that upstairs bathroom is your block, isn't it?
it really does feel like it at the moment, because I know it has been such a nice space. We'd renovated it. We'd done it all. I chose everything in there. It's meant to be this lovely space, and it was a lovely space. And at the moment, I walk in there, and it just makes my heart sink, because I think this was so nice, and now I've really let it get away. And it should be a lovely space. It should be somewhere to enjoy being in, and at the moment I don't enjoy it. It embarrasses me, because if people come over, I'll be like, use the downstairs bathroom.
When I speak to people, like more often than not, there's always like either one room or one thing that once you crack it, it's almost like unlocking the safe, essentially, and you're like, oh, okay, well, wasn't it yeah, it was a bit of an ordeal, but I've done it, and now everything seems a little less overwhelming, because when you walk into a room like that and you see the shower screen, you see the extractor fan, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing, it's just like, I don't know why I bother. Like, I literally don't know why I bother. And I think we all feel it. So it's about hooking in, for me, hooking into that one thing that is going to unlock a small bit of motivation that is going to push you through to carry on.
I'd just really like to be able to go in there and have a shower and enjoy it, and enjoy that, that this space that I chose everything in there. I designed it, I envisioned it, I knew what I wanted from it. And I remember that I did used to really go in there and be like, oh, this feels like being in a hotel. It's so nice.
So
yeah.
it's a beautiful space. Hedge baby. Your life did the thing that everyone's life does after you've had a kid, and kind of feels like a visual representation of the stuff that you like, the self-care and stuff that you potentially don't really have the time to do now.
Yeah, I want to be able to go in there and have 10-15 minutes to myself in the evening to do a bit of skincare and enjoy being in there and feel like I like
without feeling like the bathroom's judging you whilst you're in there. So the bathroom is like not, it's like got two bits to it really. It's the bathroom that I need to actually get sorted, and it's preventing me from sort of moving out of this baby stage that I've been in, because I feel like I'm clawing some time back now. And you don't just go, I think most people don't just go from, like you say, having a shower isn't self-care, it's hygiene, but you don't just go from having the quickest shower in the world with one ear out the door listening for your baby to 2-hour baths. It's incremental, obviously, isn't it? It's like over time you get a little bit more time, then a little bit more time, and then something else happens and you lose that time again, and then you get a little bit more time, and then sort of a year or a few months down the line, you're like, oh, a few months ago I would never have been able to do this.
So the bathroom is a big thing for Mel. It's kind of like that blockage that is stopping her from A, enjoying it, and also B, getting back into the housekeeping routine. And I think this is really important to talk about, because this is true for so many of us. And a lot of times it can be something as simple as just your kitchen island that is just completely cluttered with stuff. An area of your home that used to look great, especially if like you're in Mel's position and you have renovated a home and you can see, you've seen how good it can look, but for some reason or another it just doesn't look that way anymore. And this is so multifaceted, because our house and our home are so intrinsically linked with our mental health and how we feel and our emotional well-being. So a lot of us might think, oh, what I don't understand, it's just cleaning or whatever. It is so much more than that. And I think we need to get out of the habit of being like, oh my God, it's just the housework, because it is so important, because our houses and our homes are so important as well. So I went away and I was like, how can I help Mel unclog this bathroom issue in the shortest time possible, whilst not taking up too much of her time, and also recognizing that she's got a busy life. She works, she's got a kid, she's got pets. How can we fit this in, get her over this hump and back into a housekeeping routine? So I went away, made myself a massive cup of coffee, and I sent her 2 versions. There was a version where basically she just went in for 1 week and she tackled that bathroom a little bit every day, along with some other jobs just to keep her going with Tom. And then there was another version where we just sort of like kept the bathroom on the back burner in the hope that over a few days and over a few weeks, it would get back to the state that she wanted. And I also sent her a couple of presents. I sent her a nice little candle to light once she got that bathroom sorted, because I had full faith in her, and also a cordless vacuum, which she'd asked for as well. So shall we see how she got on?
So it's Monday, first day of Teams Home, and I'm just getting a start onto my level 1 jobs. I've got my first load of laundry all sorted here. So how much did I get up just from hoovering downstairs? That is disgusting. I only hoovered like 2 days ago. We've had a busy weekend. We've been out to the woods, we've walked the dog and stuff. With Kay, I really do need to be doing this every day. I definitely underestimated how much clutter makes it hard to clean. Like now it's just fine, but putting the shoes away becomes like a regular job. I'm thinking of things that can become my project in future weeks once I've done the bathroom, and I think the cupboard under the stairs is definitely might have to be like a Friday focus item in future. I think with something like the cupboard under the stairs, I've organised it, now it's done, but obviously that's not true. I don't know why I think like that, but in my head I'm like, oh, I only organised the cupboard under the stairs a month ago, why is it a mess? And it's like, well, because you organised it but you didn't maintain it. I can see there's 2 things there. There's you can do the big organisation session, the big cleaning session. If you don't maintain it with those little bit by bit things, then it will just end up back where you started. It makes so much sense. Saying it out loud, I feel a bit silly for not really seeing it before. This is the dreaded shower screen. As you can see, I mean, like, it's so misted up with the amount of lime scale that's built up on it. We've got a really hard water area, but like it's got to the point down here where it is basically opaque. And then also around the edge down here, there's loads of build up as well. And it's just really kind of getting me down, because I'd really like this to be a nice space, and every time I come in I just think how awful the lime scale is. So that's my task now, is I'm going to try and spend 10 minutes on it and just see if we can sort of break the back of it and get through some of it. Right, so yeah, it's definitely not perfect. It could do with another going over, but I think everyone can agree that is a ton sight better than when I started off 15 minutes ago. Down here there is still some build up, so I think I'm gonna have to maybe get a bit of like, maybe soak a cloth in Viacal and lay it against it so it doesn't just run out of the of where it joins, because I think it was having trouble getting it to like sit in there on it. But yeah, so much better and far more manageable than I thought it was actually going to be. Just moved an absolute ton of clothes that were hanging off the end of the bed that have been there for a few days or weeks. Got this really bad habit of dumping stuff that is like not clean, not dirty, like worn once and on the end of the bed, and it just makes it look so messy. So I just piled it up for a second. I was thinking I would sort that out now, but realistically, yeah, I need my husband to sort his stuff out too. The bed sheets need changing. I feel like frozen. I don't know what to do next. So I think I'm going to try and stick with the priority job in here, which I decided was the bed sheets. So I'm going to crack on, change bed sheets, and that pile will have to wait and I will try and sort it out tonight once little one is in bed. Even if I only sort a bit of it, I don't have to do the whole thing. I keep thinking I have to do the whole thing in one go, and I don't necessarily have to do that. I could just do a few things. So let's do that, please.
You'll agree with me that Mel did absolutely fantastically. And more importantly, at that moment in the middle of the week when she was feeling a little bit stuck, she was sat on the bed in her bedroom, she could have given up, but she decided to push through. And this is so important and a real breakthrough point, along with recognizing that you don't have to do it perfectly every single day. That bathroom would have been in a state. We saw it. It wasn't the perfect bathroom. We saw her take that bathroom that had been frustrating her for however long and slowly tackle it. And now that would have been quite tricky, especially if you're a perfectionist and you're like one of those people that thinks like, if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to spend a whole day doing it and I'm going to get it done. But in order for us to maintain and create housework habits, we need to do that really slowly. So I'm so proud of Mel for sticking with the process, coming through the other side, beating that bathroom. So let's see if she's kept the habit up. So tell me how it's been.
So I think I started off strong first few days, and then I think I just hit a bit of a wall around midweek. I think it's the perfectionism tendencies of feeling like I wasn't seeing results quickly enough. And I think that's a me thing, because it was almost like, done the stuff, is it not? And then picking back up on it again, I've realised that it does make a difference a little and often. The key is to keep doing it. And I've managed to kind of push through that perfectionist tendency that was really holding me back. So with the bathroom, the reason it got so bad was because every time I looked at it, I felt like I'd had to do a whole day in there to make a difference. It needed to all be done at once. Whereas breaking it down into small jobs, I was able to tackle it bit by bit, and it was really hard to push through. I think that midweek kind of slump was like, oh, it's not going quickly enough. Oh, I wish I were done kind of thing. It's just coming to that acceptance that it's not going to all be perfect at the same time and done at the same time. And that's just the reality of living in a home.
Yeah, that's actually really hard. It is something that I think most people struggle. I struggle with it. Like my bathroom, for example, like we've got really hard water here, and I just try not to focus too hard on the glass. I take my glasses off and then I can't see, and that's great. So like it makes it like it mitigates the problem. But I think as well, if you're saving up and doing like a full day, the chances of you getting that opportunity to do a full day really regularly is probably really rare. So you do a full day, it looks great for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then it slowly goes downhill. So that's one way of tackling it. Or the other way of tackling it is to do a realistic chunk on a more regular basis to sort of slow that slide of it going downhill. You're right, especially if you are a perfectionist and you're like, right, if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to do it properly, and I'm going to take it from A to Z, and I'm going to complete it. It's a really hard mindset shift to get your head round, I think.
Yeah, I think it was things like, I walk in there and go, right, I've got a really clean, shiny mirror and then a really line-scaly shower door. And it was just, it was almost like having the good thing next to the bad thing made it then worse in a way. And I did kind of get worse before it got better because of that. It was like, it sort of shone a light on the worst bits because I was looking at the good bit. But now I've been doing it and I have consistently gone with it. And big difference I've noticed with doing the floors every day. So my husband never wears slippers. He just wears socks around the house. When I come to do the laundry, the socks aren't covered in fluff.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I used to do the laundry and I'd shake the socks and like fluff would come off. But now I'm like, socks are clean. Just from the day to day, like having the pets and like the shedding and stuff. So doing the floors today has really, really made a big difference. Just the process of going around and doing the floors as well. As I'm doing it, I'm picking up a few bits that need to go away. So it's meant that the shoes don't stay in the hallway. They go in a couple of the stairs because it actually takes 30 seconds to pick the shoes up and put them a couple of the stairs.
Yeah.
And if I do that before I hoover, it makes hoovering easier. So why not?
Yeah.
Whereas before, they'd stay in the hallway and then there'd be more shoes and then there'd be, more stuff. And before you know it, you've got a pile of bits that need to go away and it's not a 30-second job anymore. So that's changed my view on that quite a bit. And I think having gone through like the list I've made, like I've been using the app, I've made a couple of tweaks to my daily jobs. Like one thing I put on there is we're lucky enough to have a dishwasher. I put that on there as a daily because if I don't empty the dishwasher every day, the stuff goes on the side or it goes in the sink, and then before you know it, I've got a sink stuff on the side full of clutter and it just looks awful. Whereas if you do the dishwasher first thing in the morning, then it just sort of sets us up.
It is, it's really weird, like you say, like how small, seemingly innocuous jobs are. You all match the kitchen. Everyone's very coordinated and quite like how those small innocuous jobs can make a massive difference. Like you'd think that they potentially wouldn't, right? But like, because it's always just putting some shoes away or it's just the dishes, but like you say, it can it sets you up, and it's almost like it has a positive domino effect on the rest of your day. You kind of don't feel like you're constantly chasing your tail. It's quite surprising, I think. And then it then becomes cumulative. You become in that habit of picking the shoes up, doing the dishwasher, and it just has a cumulative effect on the rest of the stuff. And over time, everything just slowly starts getting a little bit better week by week.
I mean, it's little things like, if the dishwasher is empty, the stuff can go straight in the dishwasher. So suddenly when you've made lunch and you want to just give the side a quick wipe down to get the crumbs or whatever, you're not having to move stuff that's waiting to go in the wash.
Almost like your hair growing or something like that. You don't notice it accumulating. It just breeds. Like, what's one more bag in the spare room of clothes? What's one more plate on the side? And then and before you know it, it's out of control, and you've almost become blind to it, and it becomes a block.
It doesn't matter how much you scrub this bathroom this week, the important thing is you maintain it. And it didn't feel worth like squeegeeing down the shower door after a shower because it was so line scaly and like murky. Now it's clean, it feels worth it because it's keeping on top of it. So that part is important, but equally, if I don't keep on top of squeezing it down after a shower, we're going to be back in the same place when you've got a small human and you can't always necessarily leave the room to go and put the thing back where it belongs. You start dumping things in piles, and then before you know it, the armchair's got half a dozen items that need to go away because you felt that you couldn't leave the room and go and do that. And actually, he's a bit bigger now, we've got baby gates, I can't leave him for a minute to go and put the thing where it needs to go. And the difference that makes, coming down in the morning to a tidy-ish house, coming down.
It's a huge difference. It makes a massive difference. And people say, I hear people say it all the time, I say it myself, like, it sounds silly, but it isn't silly because it's your environment and it's your home, and it makes sense that if it makes you feel more calm, if it looks more calm and more relaxed because there's less stuff, then that you will feel more calm and more relaxed, and there'll be less stuff going on in here. It's so intrinsically linked, like the psychology of where we live and how it makes us feel, and like the state of the house, that obviously everyone's different tolerance levels, but it's so linked. And I think sometimes I think, it's just housework, but it's so important because it's our home, and if our home is stressing us out, then that's the big deal. So to anyone at the moment who's like feeling really overwhelmed and not really knowing where to start, I think it's really encouraging that they've heard you say, I just started small and it wasn't perfect. And like I hit a bit of a wall, but I pushed through and now I can see the benefits of what I've been doing. It doesn't happen like that. It's unrealistic to think it's going to happen overnight, because this situation, or if anyone's watching this and are overwhelmed and they feel like they've got lots of clutter, that didn't happen overnight. So the solution isn't going to be overnight either.
And I think that's where I've stumbled previously. I've done the whole thing almost in the way that if you have a New Year's resolution, you almost, most people really crack on for the first 2 weeks of January and then completely give up. And I think that's kind of what I've done with the house over the last couple of years. Is every few months I'm like, right, this is it, I'm getting on top of it now. I'm gonna sort it all out. And it's not been instant results. And because I've not really known where I'm going with it, or I've been so haphazard with what I'm doing and so kind of scattergun, I've just given up after a few weeks, and it's not really, it's not really stuck. Whereas I've pushed through with this, and I feel like because I've got the app, I've got the list, I've got the kind of, this is what you need to do. These are the bits, even if you don't do all of them, try and get the level 1s done, but try and get at least a few of the level 2 bits. And, if you don't get to it this week, get to it next week, but trying to get that churn through, to think about it as much. So that kind of, what do next kind of is gone, because I've got the list. And that thing of there will always be more housework is so true. So having that understanding and being able to just think, well, what makes me happy? Having the sofa and pumping up cushions and having a nice place to sit just brings me some joy that I didn't really appreciate before. Like how nice that was to come down, having that bedtime, being, God, sofa's, it's great, sofa looks inviting, I want myself, rather than coming down and thinking, where is the sofa? It was just toys.
I know it's in here somewhere. Well, you've got the whole of Team Tom behind you. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
So I think the key takeaway here is you don't have to do it all at once. Slowly but surely, especially if you're trying to ease yourself back into it, or if you're trying to start a new housekeeping habit. And also trust the process. There might be a day or two where it feels worse before it starts to get better. And I think we've all been there, haven't we? Especially if you've done any big decluttering project and you've got everything pulled out and you're like, it looked better before. But we've got to break a few eggs to make that omelette. So if you are in the middle of that, then trust the process. We're always here. The community's here. The Facebook community's there. There's always going to be someone in the Tom community that is cheering you on. There's going to be people in the comments cheering you on in this video as well. Absolute massive thumbs up, round of applause, pat on the back to Mel. She did an incredible job. We are so proud of you here at Team Tom. And if you want to take part in a Tom Reset episode, then all of the information about how you can apply to take part will be in the description. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are happy, healthy, and well. And don't forget, there is more to life than housework. Love you lots. Bye.